And this is what the immortal lineage is all about.
Yeah.
And now for those of you who are here for the first time or maybe haven't heard some of this, we're going to try to catch you up a little bit, but it's been a process, it's been a conversation for quite some time. I've written a book on this subject called The Gospel of Longevity. And but there is an opportunity in this, like there is sleep. You know, you have control, really, a lot of control over your sleep. And it's just like you have a lot of control over your reactions daily in the world, and how you're going to, whether or not you're going to just operate constantly in survival, you're going to serve the system all the time, which just automatically creates stress for you, creates sickness and disease, it disables the ability for the human immune system to really function fully. This is every doctor will tell you that. Stress is one of the biggest factors in that. But we have control over that too, you know? And so this is what we're talking about.
Yeah, sleep is this amazing, it's more than a biomarker, but it's this amazing reference point on what's going on.
Yes.
And like Dr. Chopra said, there's no like pill for it. There's no pill. I heard, who was it? Oh darn. It was some talk show guy he was saying like, you can't buy sleep. It doesn't matter how rich you are, you know, or how famous you are. You can't, and you can't manipulate it. You can't manipulate yourself to sleep like we can do so many other things. Right. And so it's like this feedback. Sleep is like this feedback.
Yes.
Wow. And in large, and what I get from this whole conversation is it's also your delivery, but it's gentleness.
Yeah.
Like, can we just be gentle with ourselves, and can we put ourselves into a more gentle flow?
Right.
But you know, when you talk about the gentleness of putting ourselves to bed, like we do with small kids, but what we're talking about a lot in the Gospel of Longevity is almost like, is there a gentler way to live?
Yes.
Is there a way to live that isn't just so hard on us? Right? That is sustainable.
Yes.
Right? Even in the face of so much conditioning to not be gentle with ourselves.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Right? To be so hardcore with ourselves.
Yeah.
And the drives that we talk about.
Yeah.
And because survival is real.
That's right.
Right? And evolution is real.
Yeah.
Like these systems are real.
Yes.
Right? And so we need something that's just as real that lets us be gentle with ourselves and with one another.
That's right.
And that's a setup for a life that can go on.
Yes.
A life that can go on indefinitely.
That's right. So something that's sustainable,
right,
and that builds us every day rather than draining us every day.
Yeah. And can we find that gentle flow? Right. A gentle flow in our bodies that undoubtedly will produce good sleep, but so many other so many other what's the word for that? Like biochemical blessings. Actually.
Yes, I like that. Biochemical blessings, yes. Yeah, beautiful, Joe. That's why. And for those who are familiar with this conversation, this is an open conversation. Joe and I are sharing a lot of these thoughts with you now, and then we want you to enter into it with any questions, comments you may have, elaborations, epiphanies, whatever comes forth, because we're exploring a new way of movement here from a longevity perspective.
Right.
Okay, that's important to get.
Right.
We're not talking from a religious perspective or a secular perspective, but a longevity projection or perspective that we want to get in touch with, like you said. What can build us every day rather than tearing us down? Now that's why I myself gave to something more in my own person, because I've been doing the field of longevity for 50 years. And I was beginning to feel frustration and somewhat worn down. I felt good, felt healthy, but at the same time I knew there was something more to have. And this is where I'm not going to go into detail and everything now, but I discovered that we're not going to have this type of relaxation that we're talking about that builds us every day as long as we're functioning in the survival world.
Right.
As long as we're functioning in the system. as long as we're serving the system, because the system is built that way
Right.
for you to serve it, and it always drains you and breaks your heart.
Right, one way or
And,
another.
and we as human beings have been trying to shift that for thousands of years. We've been trying to save the world.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I've come to the clarity in my person, for me, and this is something that everybody has to have their own experience in this, but that this world is not changeable. Like this, it's a system, it's an evolutionary process.
Yeah.
We are not even in charge of it from that level.
No.
And this is why, you know, how many times have probably everybody here in this room struggled with that. We know, you know, people go to psychologists, they take all kinds of courses, they do this and that, and I'm not criticizing that. I'm just saying it never really changes the dynamics of it.
Not fundamentally.
They don't.
It doesn't change. It doesn't change the fundamentals in our nervous system.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're still end up in the struggle. You might do. I mean, I'm a person that I've done through my life everything from yoga, psycho-cybernetics, you name it, and they were all good.
Meditation.
But I never found that which was sustainable. I would meditate, for example, and it's great. But then right after meditation, I would and medication. I'd medicate while I'm meditating, or sometimes, you know what, and so, but I never was able to achieve the sustainability we're talking about now, and that we're experiencing of not being drained. Now, for me, I'm experiencing an energizing of myself more every day. Not a draining anymore.
So,
you know, and that's what the gospel of longevity and the immortal lineage is about. And so,
right. So I think so we've all done things for ourselves that have improved our quality of life, right? That have but we're talking about actually optimizing life.
Yes.
Right? So a lot of people are out to optimize performance.
That's right.
Right? They want to be the best athlete they can be or make the most money they can make. We want to actually optimize being alive.
That's right.
And what we cannot do is optimize being alive under the conditions of survival pressure and survival anxiety.
Exactly.
It's just always suboptimal.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And so then all the biochemistry that is lived in that living is suboptimal.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we don't really know then what the potential is for living, because we don't know, because within this whole serving the system way of life, which is many things, it's an economic system, it's an emotional acceptance system, it's being good enough in your own mind system, it's living up to whatever, you know, your dad thinks you should be system, it's all those systems.
What about your mother?
Your mother system, it's all those layers of something that you can never unwind all those layers.
Exactly.
Right? So there's never that opportunity to live optimally, which is what the gospel of longevity is about.
Yeah.
Which is about living a life of creation, not a life of survival.
Birthing yourself out of survival.
Through a rebirth.
And it's just as a physical as birth, you might say, as, you know, being birthed out of the womb of your mother.
Right.
Okay? It's another opportunity to be birthed out of the world of survival.
Yeah.
But you know, consequently, though, we are so used to, and we're programmed, we're trained as human beings to adapt to a system that destroys us, that sabotages us. We create coping mechanisms for it, and we never really get out of it. And then finally, we just kind of accept that that's the way it is. You know, but the reality is it doesn't have to be that way. It is that way. I think the thing that's tricky is it really is that way as long as you're in the system and you're not going to change it.
Right.
And that's why sometimes you can feel, oh, well, that's why people adapt. Or they just go, oh, well, this is the way it is. I'm going to die anyway someday.
Yeah.
Or this is the way the world is. I'm not going to really change it. Or they try to change it. They dedicate themselves to maybe trying to do that and then become disillusioned, of course.
Yeah.
But they keep in the system that way because they think that's, you know, the way it has to be, not realizing that there is another opportunity that's in us already, that primal scream for life that's there
already
in our bodies already, to answer that call in our bodies and have a reborn experience out of the world of death.
Right.
Wow.
And so
that's what the gospel of longevity is about.
Right. So. And when we talk about this, it can be elusive for people because we're so conditioned to carry this burden.
Exactly.
Right? That it's literally in our definition of being an adult.
Exactly. Yes.
that we carry this burden,
Yes.
and this is what we do, and the better we carry the burden, the better of a person
Right.
we are.
And then we
right?
pass
And the
that
more
burden on
successful-
to our kids.
Right.
We say, this is the way it's to be. We want them to go out and be successful, not realizing that the most successful thing they can be is be a real human being in touch with their soul.
There it is.
You know, so
Right.
we tell them to serve the system. And no one's to blame on this,
No.
like we pointed out. It's not, parents or anybody else.
No.
It is the evolutionary process that we need to be aware of that's driving that force.
But there's always been something in human beings also to aspire to an existence outside of that system.
Yes.
Which is the feeling and the spirit of divinity.
That's right.
That we experience in
That's
our
right.
bodies.
Well, this divinity has shown up all down through history, right? We've seen it with King David, Moses, down the line. Many gurus, masters have had this
Enlightenment.
We show the enlightenment. But there's a difference between what we're talking about of enlightenment and actually walking totally in the light.
Yeah.
Actually being that.
Right.
And that's what we're talking about here. Now, that every human being can be. This is not exclusive to just some guru or some master. What I'm talking about is for every human being that will will it to be so in their own bodies.
Right.
Yeah. So.